So I got to be honest with you. I have a hard time with something, you know, when look, I'm no stranger to people disagreeing with what I say, and I expect it, and I understand some of the disagreement sometimes. Like, I get why people have the other opinion, but let me just be honest about something. I don't get. This is something I don't understand, you know, at all. Intelligent people, and I'm talking people that I'm not just saying that to sort of, you know, disparage them, or I'm not just saying this just for appearance's sake. I'm talking like seriously people that I think are intelligent, probably smarter than me. I don't get why intelligent people don't understand how evil affirmative action is. I just don't get it. And I think for some reason, when you talk about affirmative action, it kind of stays in this theoretical place where you don't see it for what it actually is. And that, I don't know why it happens. It's kind of like the abortion conversation. It kind of stays in this theoretical, and you don't often get the passion that you should have, knowing that there are literal babies being killed. But let me talk about what I mean. So somebody gave me an example. Someone was pushing back on my Facebook account and saying, you know, and this is a friendly pushback. And he said, look, you know, here's the thing. Like, there are still systemic issues, and he gave and good on this guy. He actually gave an example of what he means by a systemic issue. This often doesn't happen, but here's what he says. He says, I think about my family history, and I hear stories about my parents and grandparents went through, and I know that things are so much better, but still, I have almost 2 master's degrees, and I still have to deal with systemic issues. Like, for example, having my houses searched by police because I was accused of being a drug kingpin while working and living in student housing at a Christian university. So this guy is saying that's an example of a systemic issue. My house was searched just because somebody made a wild accusation about me being a drug kingpin. I was at a Christian university, and they searched my house just because somebody said I was a drug kingpin. He's saying that's an example of a systemic injustice. Okay, I grant it. I don't have any reason to disbelieve what he's saying, and I wouldn't want to. I think, in fact, if I had to put my life savings on whether or not that was actually true, I would probably put it on, yes, that was probably actually true. But here's the thing, right? Would any smart, right-thinking, logical person say that the solution to that is to go search some white people's houses just on the basis of an accusation of them being a drug kingpin? Would anybody think that? Would anybody think that? Let's say that there was, let's say, because we're talking about this Jussie Smollett thing, right? So Jussie Smollett was accusing a couple of white folks of beating him, right? Let's just say that white people were beating blacks like they were hotcakes, right? Let's just say that that was happening, right? Would any right-thinking, logical person say the solution to that is we got to go beat up some white people? Would anybody think that? Let's say the police brutality thing, you know, like these shootings, right? Like the Michael Brown thing and all these things. Let's just say they were all true. Like, those people were shot by police because they were black, and the police had an itchy trigger finger because they were scared of black people. Let's just say the narrative is true, right? Would any reasonable person think that the solution to that was to start training cops to have an itchy trigger finger with white people too? No. It's obviously not the case. You can't decrease police shootings in black communities by increasing them in white communities. It doesn't work that way. In every one of those cases, everybody would know that the solution is to stop doing it. To stop killing blacks like there's no tomorrow, to stop beating them up like there's no tomorrow, to stop searching their houses just because they were accused of something. Because like that example that this guy used, it's a good one, because here's the solution. Don't do that anymore. Don't just take somebody's word for it that someone's a drug kingpin and raid their house. And start making penalties for false accusations. In other words, if you make a false accusation against a black man saying he's a drug kingpin, whatever would have happened to him happens to you. That's the godly way to do it. So number one, you stop the discrimination, you stop the evil, and then you put in godly penalties for those false accusations. That's the solution. Everybody gets that when it comes to beatings, when it comes to shootings, when it comes to all this other kind of stuff. But for some reason, we think that partiality in our hiring practices or our schools, the way to solve it is to now show partiality the opposite way. So because we used to not let blacks into this university, and so now to fix it, not only do we have to stop not letting them in, but we also now have to raise the bar for whites and Asians so that they can't get in, so that more blacks can get in. Why is it that this one is different? Can't you see that you cannot repent of showing partiality based on skin color by showing partiality based on skin color? I mean, how is that not obvious? I really struggle with that. These are smart people that don't seem to get it. Matt Chandler says, look, we need to hire more black pastors, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to disadvantage white pastors in order to hire more black pastors. Can't you see that that is trying to out-sin your sin? You can't out-sin your sin. That's like trying to stop cheating on your wife with Rachel, but the way you do it is by cheating with Monica. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't sin your way out of sin. Like, this is a very basic thing, a basic idea. We believe it with all those other things. Like, all those other things, if you said the solution to black shootings is to start shooting white people, everyone would think you're nuts, obviously. But for some reason, we're saying the solution to discrimination based on skin color is discrimination based on skin color. I mean, honestly, get a clue. I mean, this is so basic. It's so basic. I don't get it. That's all there is to it. Hope this is helpful. God bless.